Unconditionally loving my family means loving each and every one of them exactly as they are and not expecting them to give me anything that they can't, including the love and support that I need. It doesn't mean that I have to tolerate being treated poorly. And I get to set the boundary as far as how much access they have to me, and knowing that me not being in their life is their loss. And as sad as it is, loving them is not having expectations for them that they cannot fulfill.
What we do here is go back.
I want to share my experience and kind of where I'm at when it comes to relating to my family. And I want to just make sure that the basis of this conversation is love, and that in no way, shape, or form am I trying to disparage anyone or not be empathetic or understanding of the fact that unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional tolerance. And the only reason I want to share this at all is because I think that a lot of people are dealing with complicated family dynamics. And I think as far as family is concerned, mine is not the most difficult by any means. I don't want to get too specific about things just because I guess I want to protect my family too. But I also just feel like I'm allowed to share where I'm at in hopes that it would potentially help anyone who might be watching or might be going through that as well. So with my parents, just ideologically, we're in very different places. I was raised like very strict evangelical Christian, and I haven't been that way for a long time, but they kind of recently like asked me point blank, like, do you believe these very specific orthodox like things about God and about Jesus? And even though I believe in God in a very real way, and in fact, I think I'm closer to God than I've ever been in my life, it's a much more expansive and generous and I think more true version of God. Theirs is a much more prescriptive and black and white, and to me, finite and human way of describing God. It's a lot of rules and such. And so because of that rift, because God is the most important thing to their life in that specific particular way, and any version of God outside of that is completely unacceptable, I feel like they find it too painful to even be around me because they think I'm going to hell. They literally think I'm going to hell if I don't believe this very specific thing about God. And I haven't agreed with that version of God for a really, really long time. And I don't think that they realize like I'm the same person that I've been. You just didn't realize it. Definitely things shifted after they realized that, and they kind of found out some things basically through my social media, of like what I believed and how I believe, because I'm just at a point where I'm just so comfortable disappointing people because I cannot abandon myself to make other people feel comfortable. I'm a grown woman and I've known that for a really long time. It's really heartbreaking to me because I care so much about my family, and I want and have always wanted to have a strong relationship, to have strong family relationships. But I also realized that my romantic relationships, I kept picking men over and over and over again who were completely different. One was goofy and one was really ambitious, or like they were really, really different shapes, colors, sizes, like their vibes were different. But energetically, and the role that they played in my life was always that they did not have the capacity to see me. They did not have the capacity or want to be deeply curious about me. And they also could not prioritize me for all different reasons. But those were the core of a lot of the men that I was choosing. And that is my core wound with my family. And realized that like I can't right now be in spaces that reaffirm that. I need to be surrounded by people and a community and romantic relationships and friendships and mentors and my online community of people who are curious about me and want to be there to support me and see me and see the beauty in me and see my flaws and to accept me still. I just need people who are able to prioritize me. And I recognize that with my relationships with everybody in my family, the only reason that we had a good relationship is because I was an absolute shell of myself and I was creating all of this space for them to be who they were at their fullest. But if I was to be who I really am, it wouldn't be okay. And I don't want any relationships like that. Not to say that I need to cut these relationships off, because I don't want to cut off my relationship with my family. I do need to just accept what is. I need to have stronger relationships where I get that need fulfilled. If my needs aren't getting fulfilled relationally and emotionally and spiritually in that way, then I'm just going to be giving from an empty cup. And I think right now I kind of need to orbit a little bit away from them, so that I can get those needs met, so I'm not disappointed when I'm giving. I think that recently it's like a bit of a dark night of the soul moment for me. I totally understand and have so much certainty that it's all on purpose. I accept the difficulty of this season of my life, and I know that it's hard, and it's okay that it's hard. And it's also okay that I'm alone a lot. And I know that I've seen that a lot of times when people have kind of like these breakthroughs or kind of like the success or the life and like the feelings that I want to feel, the people who have that, they sort of describe a season of isolation that happens before. And it's like all my energy, I get all my energy back. And I just have this sense that it's very, very right. And I also know that this kind of like lack that I feel is an invitation to create community and support. And I think that for me, at least part of it is developing that with online people, because and hopefully that will also translate to in real life community as well. The people who follow me and who I've been in conversations with, like even in the comment sections or my DMs, like they are really life-giving to me, and just how people have encouraged me, and I feel really seen. One way that I'm choosing to see all of this, and that I really think is true, I think that each soul has missional work to do on this earth and in their lifetime. Everybody has a purpose, and you know, many of us are numbing out because it's very painful to find your purpose, because a lot of times our purpose is rooted in pain, and we also don't have a lot of tools to tolerate and navigate discomfort. And I've been lucky enough to have worked at an eating disorder treatment center that has equipped me with a systematic way of practicing emotional tools, as well as just experience, right? Like every belief system, every system of any kind that ever existed is just taking what we experience in life and, you know, putting it in an outline that we can kind of follow, and we can take what works and leave what doesn't. But it can sort of optimize and help us move faster through different life experiences. And that's what dialectical behavioral therapy has done for me. Honestly, it's one of the reasons that I love being a coach and I love walking people through difficult seasons of life, because I know how hard it is, because that's what I've done. And I want people to have the support and kind of an outside voice to kind of make sense of the chaos. And I think that therapy can be really valuable, and also it doesn't work for some people. And I also think that sometimes therapy can be something that almost keeps you stuck and in a victim mindset for years and years. And that's why I like coaching, because it's very, to me, generative, and it's forward thinking, it's future oriented and present oriented. It might include some analysis of the past, but I feel like a lot of people know why, especially like people who are just self-aware. They know why. It's just like, okay, well, I need to change my life though. I need to do things differently. I need to act. A lot of spiritual people too, like, we might almost use spirituality as escapism because we can't figure out how to actually create in the 3D what we want. I also think that my family being the way that they are is also a huge gift. I saw this one clip, I literally forget who said it, but they said that one indicator of good parenting is that your children have absolutely no desire to be famous at all. Fame, right? We think of it as like huge celebrity, but I also think that just wanting to be seen by a lot of people and like being in the influencer space or being in content creation or like have a lot of success, and for a lot of people to be like, oh my God, like to like be known by like many, I think that desire is sort of rooted in trauma. And I don't necessarily think that trauma responses, like a response to trauma, can be generative. Like for me, I almost see it like I have this very clear understanding that I'm supposed to use my voice, both speaking and singing, to impact my little slice of the world. And from a very young age, I was always in leadership roles, and I always wanted to inspire people to just live lives that they loved. Even in high school, like you could ask anyone who went to high school with me, like everybody knew that like I was on mission. I really wanted to change my school and help people be less apathetic and more engaged and more present, and it worked, honestly. Like I felt so purposeful in high school, and then I think I'm almost coming back to that version of me, but in a more adult way. All that to say is that I think feeling unseen and just unknown, and like just no one had time for me, and like couldn't be there for me for reasons that are totally valid, and I understand. But because of that, it's caused me to sort of seek others who will, and it's all on purpose, right? Everything has a purpose, and I just, instead of complaining or wanting things to be different than what they are, I accept what is. And I accept that there might be things that shouldn't be a certain way and that I won't imitate. And what's coming to mind is God works all things out together for good, which is a Bible verse. And I know that can be sort of like a cliche or corny thing, but it's like the way that a pearl is formed is that a piece of sand gets into it, a thing that shouldn't be there. And because of that, the clam has a response, and it creates this thing of beauty, this thing that's precious, this thing that is desired and sought after from this really ugly, nasty little piece of sand. And I love my name, and I feel so connected to my name because I think that truth is just something that I see all the time. And that's why I believe that the universe is good, because even the hardest parts of our life can somehow magically transformed into these superpowers. I think her name is Amanda Nguyen. She's a woman who has literally been changing the law about sexual assault and rape because she herself was a victim, and she put off going to space for, I believe, a decade or so, and now she just went to space. And it's just this incredible story of this woman taking this horrible thing that happened to her and her helping, like, I don't even know how many lives she's going to help. I feel like we all can do that in our lives in, different ways. And it might not be so clear cut as that, but how can we take our pain or the things that are difficult in our lives and accept it and choose to move through it in a way that creates beauty in our lives? And the thing is that you don't know how. Like, the whole process of becoming a pearl is actually really horrible and not fun at all. I'm grateful for everything, including the kind of sad parts of life. And I just know that if I had a family that like loved and cherished me and saw me and all this, like, of course, like, the world isn't perfect, okay? Like, my mom was literally born in a grass hut. Like, she was going through a lot, like, and my whole family has suffered in their own ways. So to expect them to be that is absolutely ridiculous. And it's valid to want that. But I know if I had that, I just probably would have stayed in my hometown and like be completely content. And there's nothing wrong with that either. That's beautiful, but I've been given the life that I've been given. So how can I work with it, and how can I utilize it, and how can I create my own luck from all of this? So that's all I wanted to share today. If any of that resonated with you, or you feel like you're in a similar place, or if you feel like you have insights to things that I didn't address, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. I just want to connect to my soul family. So that's all. Thank you for listening, like always, and I'll see you next time.